We are live. Friends, family, fans, microphone enthusiasts around the world. We are on Windows 10, factory reset to the computer. No more mic problems. No more. It's RBC week. You're down with RBC? Yeah, you know me. It is one of those weeks, friends and family and fans. I am amped. We've got the dollar shirt on, the Scottie celebration special. My word. Whenever Cameron Smith has been on our card, it's been a wonderful one, even when he doesn't win. Scottie freaking Scheffler at the Masters. W. Dogs, W. My word, was that a fantastic performance from the man. Incredible stuff. Absolutely fantastic. A little nervy towards the end. I mean, the 4-putt at the end there was quite fun, but he had it in the bag the whole time. He knew. He's so smart. He's so good on the golf course. I mean, that chip on 3, holy cow. Anyway, multiple Masters recap shows have taken place, so I'm sure you need to know about that. It's the RBC week. It's the RBC week. The ABC, the RBC, the whole shebang. Let's take a peek. The microphone is going to work for me. I did a 53-minute test earlier. We're back in business. We are back in business. Forgive me if I'm a little rusty. It's been over a month since I've done this for a while. So, good microphone. It's not the mic's fault. It was the computer. Anyway, let's get to the show. Let's take a look at what we're doing, what we're dealing with here. Okay. So, RBC, Harbor Town in South Carolina. It's a beautiful place. I love going down there. I speak like those people after a few beverages, that's for sure. Iowa, flat accent doesn't work on me. What do we know about RBC? Well, distance means diddly squat for the most part. No real correlation when it comes to distance. Nothing. You want accuracy off the tee. Most people have that unless your game is just in utter chaos. You've got accuracy. You can hit a 3-iron, 250 down the fairway. Most of these guys are that good. They can do this. So we're not necessarily worried too much about that. Sprinkled in a bit of accuracy, a bit of good drives. You'll see what's cooking in a little bit. But not too concerned about off the tee. It's not a big factor this week like it was last. Strokes gained approach, critical. Absolutely critical. It's a second shot golf course. A lot of these shots are going to be going into these small greens that are Bermuda grass, so have to be accurate with the irons. Have to be. Have to be. Around the green, also kind of important. Not necessarily more than tour average. The difficulty around the greens, nothing spectacularly difficult. However, got to be able to still chip and putt. If you can't chip, you're in trouble because you're going to be missing a lot of greens. That's what's happening at RBC this week. Strokes gained putting, very important. Going to be missing a lot of greens. You got to be making those putts for par. If you hit the green, you got to be converting those birdies. Always important to have a good putter, and even more so this week because if you look at the fraction of the pie, strokes gained off the tee is the pie small. You can only hit so many you can only hit only 14 fairways. Almost said 18. You can only hit 14 fairways, and you can only hit them so far. So the strokes you can gain off the tee are extremely limited. What you need to do is gain elsewhere. Where can you gain? On approach, around the greens, and putting. Simple as that. There's only that much more to differentiate yourself from the field from. If that makes any sense at all. So let's get into the ranges of approach that we're looking for the most, and it's right here. 125 to 200. That is a casual 63% that will be the range from 125 to 200 is 63% of the shots that take place at this golf course over the last 4 years. It's a significant range. It's a range that a lot of scoring can happen from. it's a range that a lot of guys are not necessarily that good from on tour because they do better on bigger golf courses, a la John Rahm. Put John Rahm in this range right here, and he's having a bit of a tough time to stick with the field because it's a putting contest, but he just can't hit his irons close enough. He's not in the field this week. Surprise, surprise. So yes, 125 to 200 is the golden range. We are emphasizing that quite a lot. This is the situation. The settings for the model, 12% approach, baseline, 4% last 24 rounds of approach. And then we've got that heavy range. We've got a good 13% of weighting between 125 to 200, sprinkled in the rest proportionally. We know we're mathematically sound around here to get a total of 35% on approach. Then around the green, 10%. Just a nice little sprinkling in there. Baseline putting on all surfaces, 5%. Specific putting on Bermuda, last 50 rounds, 10%. Then, depending on the weather, could be a birdie fest, could be tough, could be -10, could be -12. It happened 3 years ago. Low scores, as in -10. The last 2 years, it's been -19, -22. That's what the birdies are for. 3 par 5s on the golf course, all very scoreable. 10% we want there. Okay. Total driving, not a lot. 2% the last 24 rounds. 5% good drives, 5% for accuracy off the tee, and then 3% just general off the tee stuff. That's what's going on. That's the thoughts behind everything. Let's get into business, yeah, folks. Let's get into business, yeah. I was busy researching, so my things are all backwards. Okay, we can see me. We can see what's going on. Let's do this. Perfect. All right. I don't know if the screen's too small or not. It's all good. We are rolling. I think we can see enough. First off, Cameron Smith. My word. So I had Scottie Scheffler and Cameron Smith on the card, and I had a straight bet. Because it was the Masters, I was an absolute degenerate. I bet for them to finish first and second at 250 to 1. And Cam let me down. Bad. It was looking so good for so long. Anyway, we're going back to Cameron Smith in DFS. We're sprinkling a whole lot of outrights over this card. We got 4 of them, 5, 6 of them, actually 7, I think. We will see. We're sprinkling. That's what we're doing here. Got a lot of big dogs. I couldn't quite differentiate who we wanted to go with. You never know what's going on after the Masters. So that's the kind of situation. We're going to go the big dogs in DFS. Cam Smith is 10% owned. $10,800. Kind of spendy. But look at this dude's recent approach play. My God, is it good? He is one of the best approach players in the game right now, and it's not even funny. He's just so very good with his approach play. And then you put it with his around the green game. I mean, look at his short game score. Number 1 in the field. And his recent approach play is number 1 in the field. And now you take the drive out of his hands, which does the little snappy whappies. We've got a strokes gain booyah, yeah, folks. Yes, we do. Cameron Smith is going to be phenomenal this week if his motivation levels are there. That's the thing. I think a lot of people are assuming that they aren't at 10% owned, if that number is correct. Third best putt. He's putting fantastically right now, and his Bermuda putting is 3rd in the last 50 rounds. So, I mean, what is there not to like about Cam? He came out here, just about broke the course record in round 1 last year. Just from an outright standpoint, the numbers were nuts on all these top guys. It wasn't a major. The field is live. The entire field is basically live. Long hitters don't separate themselves from the field like at Augusta last week. So that's why in the outright market, we're sprinkling. So Cam Smith absolutely will be playing him in DFS. 10% owned. He makes a crap ton of birdies. His history is getting better. And also, I looked at his approach play at Harbour Town, and it hasn't been very good. And he's still scored well. Now you bring what he's doing with his irons, and it's going to be scary. And then I looked it up, and because it's a crazy week, we're going to stack JT and Cameron Smith. And that leaves you with $7,075 or something. So we have a bunch of 7K guys, 6K guys downstairs that we will be rattling through here in a little bit because we're going to need them this week. Absolutely going to need them this week. Justin Thomas, second in the model. Couldn't get to either of those guys. Most of these dudes at the top struggle to find any top 20 odds on them, so leaving them alone. JT's fine. JT is just going to be a great DFS play again because he's going to be super expensive. He's the top owned guy. A lot of people see him as like a very big, strong, powerful hitter. I know he doesn't look that way, but that's what his game is. Off the tee, it's just bang, bang, bang. He's still very good around you. Look at his course history. It's third. He's not too bad around this track, folks. Birdies, par fives, bogey avoidance, the whole shebang. Look at his putting. It's been better. It has been better lately. It's really improving. So JT's cruising. The more we speak about this, the more I wish you could have each one of these, but how could you? It's single bullet territory up top there with those odds in the outright market. But around the green, JT's fantastic. From 125 to 200, his proximity numbers are the best in the field. Number one guy in the field from 125 to 200. He's just going to be throwing darts, lasers, darts, the whole shebang. Scary stuff. So his recent approach play also fantastic, matching up with his baseline. Good stuff. The driving stuff we don't really care about too much. And I mean, he's just been playing fantastic golf. Just gets off to slow starts. Just cannot get himself going. Cannot get himself going. Colin Morikawa, also another guy we obviously like. Ownership, a little more chalky than JT and Cam. So that's why he's in the orange. It's the guys in the black and orange are the guys we like. However, they are the guys that a little chalky. But we might still play them a little bit because if we go Cam and Colin, then you're freeing up another $1,000 quite quickly. $900, whatever. So Colin, also, look at those proximity numbers. Money, money, money. His iron play seems to have recovered at the Masters. He found that a little bit. Now, if weather reports come out and it's windy as balls, stay away from Colin Morikawa. I don't think he's a very good wind player. He's very precise. He's very calculated in his approach play. When the wind blows, so does Colin. He sucks. I think, personally, I don't know if there's any statistical stuff that backs it up. I should probably look into that. However, if the wind blows, leave Colin alone. Go to Justin and Cam. 100% agree. And then Daniel Berger. So if it's peaceful, pristine, calm, birdie fest, Colin Morikawa is going to be just firing at these pins. That proximity numbers are wonderful. Par 5 scoring's great stuff. Just everything you could ask for, just a little chalky. Nothing in the outright betting market at all. Too pricey. Next up, DB straight vibing, baby. Daniel Berger is one of my statistically favorite golfers. Also one of my favorite golfers. I like that he's a real Nazi. Not a lot of people like Daniel Berger. It is what it is. You can't make everyone in the world happy, but Daniel, he makes me happy. Unless it's on the Classic Sunday and you blow a 5-shot lead. However, we're going back to Daniel Berger on the outright market. 28-1. Like double the price of these other boys up top here. Fourth in the model. For me, that was the biggest value on the board for one of the elite guys. Maybe Berger isn't necessarily elite. In your opinion, he's my elite. I dig him. I think his game fits perfectly. His approach baseline is stunning. His recent iron play has been a little sketchy. However, he's been on these longer golf courses recently. I don't think his iron play from that, from distance is where he shines. It's wedges, it's 7 irons and in for Daniel. I think he likes that. Also, he's extremely accurate with his irons. So, smaller greens, he's not going to play safe. I think he's just going to be firing at these flags. Absolutely firing. His around the green game is fantastic, which is the one minor concern about Colin. However, if the chips aren't necessarily that difficult, I think Colin's fine. It's the more 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 difficulty chips that I think Colin struggles with, tighter lies, blah, blah. We will see. I don't know. But Daniel Berger won't have that problem. He is fantastic around the greens. Absolutely fantastic. Leads the field in scrambling. I adjusted his around the green numbers because 2021 was really bad, and he's come out in 2022 and just been firing. I adjusted it. It was holding him back. Now he's up on the leaderboard in the model. It's looking beautiful. Whoopsie. His bogey avoidance, fantastic. History, yeah, really good. Very nice history. Chalk bomb city on the DFS side. We're going to expose ourselves to him on the betting market. Plus 130 on BetMGM is the new FanDuel, by the way. Their odds are better than FanDuel's, and they're paying ties for top 20s. I love that. Give me the best odds in the market playing ties. Sign me the hell up. I love it. Let's do it. So Daniel been playing fantastic golf. Actually, sorry, he has not been playing fantastic golf lately. However, we know what he is capable of. So we're going to Daniel Berger outright market, 28-1. First round leader, 40-1. He is the second best scoring average in round one in the field. So yes, I wrote all about this in rotoballer.com, Breaking 100 article. Go check that out if you feel like it. It comes out on a Tuesday now, early in the morning, hopefully. And it's going to have all of this stuff that I'm speaking about now with the odds associated with the top 20s and stuff soon. So if you want to get that stuff involved, you can grab it and grab those numbers before they disappear. So that's what's going on there. Daniel Berger's approach play, his good drive percentages are fantastic. Just good stuff. Patrick Cantley, I'm fading him. This is the reason why. 83rd on approach in the last 24 is just, it's not helping his cause at all. Not helping his cause. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. And then you come to this proximity range, even when, so this is his baseline. And how I'm looking at this right now is if this proximity number is crappy, but his approach play has been improving lately, that's okay, because that means that that number might also be coming down just because his general irons are improving. Just as a baseline blanket thought. But if your approach, if you're having really bad proximity numbers in this column and your recent approach play is bad, I don't want any of that. Patrick Cantley is that guy. So we are fading him. So is most of the public. But at 10K, he's got the same ownership as Cam. And I feel like Cam is just playing on a completely different level to Cantley. So 10% ownership on Cameron Smith is just, and JT, 13%. That just looks stunning to me. So we're fading Cantley, even though his baseline stuff is fantastic. Recent play, for me, is a concern. Russell Henley. Flush Bus Russ is next up. And he is our second outright. Snagged him quickly. Monday morning, 45-1 on FanDuel. I believe this, in the article, I wrote him up at 35-1. Still would go there. I have a theory about Russell. He's always struggled to close out on a Sunday. That has been his issue. I think his best opportunity to win a golf tournament is from behind. Now, look who's in front of him. We got these dogs, or at least these dogs. Colin, Cam, Justin, Danny Berger. If these guys are in front of him and he's 2 or 3 shots behind, a few pairings back, goes out before them, no pressure, Russell Henley can shine. We saw what he did on the front nine at Augusta and then had a Sunday meltdown on the back nine, essentially. But the back nine can play tough. It gets a lot of people. We need that kind of a play from Russell. I think he's going to come from behind, hopefully snag it in a better field. I don't know. I don't think he can win from the front. I just don't think he can do that. He's going to have to come from behind to win. In a loaded field like this, there's a good chance he can do that if the guys in front of him falter. If it's Daniel Berger, he's not faltering. He's powering through the finish this time. Everybody else, it's Russell's time. So yes, that's obviously my little thing. But I mean, his approach baseline is second in the field. Stunning stuff. And it's overlapping with his recent approach play, which is beautiful. And then you get to this proximity range where he's fifth in the field. So He's going to be firing at flags all the time. Last 50 on Bermuda, 42nd. Love that. And his putting has got slightly better. Baseline 46, last 24, 35th. So he's improving slightly. Good stuff. Makes minimal amount of bogeys because he's so consistent. His good drive gain percentage is fantastic. Top 10 in the field, 8th ranked. So that's very nice from Russell. Always going to keep his ball in play for the most part and just stripe the irons. Absolutely love him. Top 20 plus 150 on BetMGM. Got to go there. 17% owned at 9K. Exposure on the betting market, let him be. If he does well, we still do well. DFS side, if he doesn't, then that's 17, most likely 20% of the field will be eliminated from the bracket, from the contest, the bracket, whatever the hell we're doing here. But I mean, Russell is a wonderful player. Webb Simpson, second best course history here behind Joaquim, and Joaquim has a T5. So Webb only one T5. That's why his score is so solid. Lots of good strokes going there in a small sample size. Webb obviously played a lot more here. Suits his golf game perfectly. Look at his proximity numbers from 125 to 200 are fantastic for Webb, who hasn't necessarily been playing that well lately. And that is why we're not going to go with him at 15% ownership. Last 24 rounds, his approach play hasn't been fantastic. Maybe it's been because he's been playing on a bit bigger golf courses that aren't necessarily the niche for him. However, if you just look at his approach play over the last while, every event, the approach bar is barely green. It just sneaks into the green. There's nothing fancy. I think the last big green bar he had was at RSM, which was last year. So nothing has been firing like he's going to win the tournament. And I think if you're going to eat 17, 15% ownership on a guy, he's got to be able to win the thing. And I just don't think he's not peaking. His game isn't shiny right now. So we're going to leave Webb alone. Joaquim Niemann, we love Joaquim. All we're doing with him, dodging the ownership in DFS, plus 150, BetMGM, top 20. Let's do it. Love that number. He likes this golf course. Approach play has been shining, been cruising upwards, beating his baseline by 12 shots lately, and he's pretty good from the 125 to 200 yard range. Love that about Joaquim. His putter's been a bit of an issue since he won at the Genesis, so we'll see what he can do. Going to dodge the ownership in DFS. Joaquim Niemann, 150, plus 150 for a top 20. Got to go there. DJ, 10-5 on DraftKings. He's got a good course history here. He's playing really nicely, and if he's at 11% owned, I kind of skipped that in my brain. But I mean, you got to pick your poison up top. And I just prefer Cam and Justin if I'm going with those guys. You can't have everyone up there. But DJ, if you like him and you don't like any of those other two dudes, love DJ. I mean, at that ownership, he's been playing better. Recent approach play has been better. His last 24, not necessarily at his baseline of 11th, but I don't know. He's showing signs recently that he can do something. Never highlight him, so let's brush over him quickly. We're not involved in him in any way right now. Matthew Fitzpatrick is going to be a little chalky, but we like that. We plays well here, has played this course regularly per Rob, DFS, whatever the rest of his letters are in his Twitter handle. But on the Approach Pod, they mentioned that he plays this golf course quite regularly and has very familiar knowledge about this place. So we like Matthew Fitzpatrick's course history here. We like his par 5 scoring. Short game is phenomenal. And his recent approach play has been incredible. He has yet to lose strokes on approach in any recorded round this year. And he's come out, and a lot of people think that he's a short hitter. He was pumping it around Augusta, hammering the driver around Augusta. He's distance marker on Data Golf is in the blue. No gray stuff. Accuracy was there, and the distance is there. He's done some speed training or whatever over the Christmas break, and it's looking good for him. It's really paying off. This stuff, I'm pointing at the screen. You can tell I haven't done this for a while. This proximity number, 125 to 200, he had terrible numbers in 2021 from that range. I might have to adjust that. We will see. I want him to just give me one or two more good performances, and then we'll figure it out. Kind of do like we did with Daniel Berger's short game. We like fits, chalky. If you like it, go for it. $9,500, one of the best putters on Bermuda, blah, blah, blah. Corey Connors, 15% owned. Average course history. His approach play has been okay. Seemed like he played really well at Augusta. He plays well there all the time. It suits his game. Now, if you notice, his proximity numbers from 125 to 200 are quadruple the ranking as his approach play baseline. So that isn't his strength. It's the 175 and up that Corey excels at, kind of like Louis. Not necessarily the best from that range. So yes, kind of skipping over Corey because of that thing. If we want some guy that's 15% owned, he needs to be elite in some department, and I don't think he's elite in approach from that specific range. My reason I'm fading him, and then obviously his short game is garbage. So that's another reason why. Cool. He is very consistent ball striker. We obviously love that, but I don't think he's got the it factor this week. Shane Lowry, can't say I'm a massive fan of the guy, but I mean, his approach play has been fantastic. Decent from 125 to 200. That's obviously hasn't caught up to his recent ball striking skills. That he's now 9th versus 12th. Not a lot of a big jump. Been putting better lately, which is a scary thing. But I'm not going to him at 18%. I want him to hit into the bamboo bushes again. You see him hit into the bamboo bushes, and I didn't even know there was bamboo at Augusta. There's bamboo on Augusta National Golf Course. Shane Lowry had to take a drop from the bamboo. Incredible stuff. I was laughing. Anyway, Brian Harmon, 66 to 1 outright. 270 plus 270 for a top 20 at a golf course that he's got relatively decent history at. And you can tell that the model's a little excited about Brian Harmon because he's the first guy that's in the 7K range and he's 13th ranked in the model. So if you like Brian Harmon at 12%, I like Brian Harmon at 12%. And this is a prime example. It's the opposite of what we were talking about with Cantlay. Proximity numbers from 125 to 200, crappy. Approach baseline, crappy, 82nd. Last 24 rounds on approach, 36th. He's split his ranking in half almost, and he's improving so nicely with his irons lately. He's very consistent off the tee, and we know what he can do. I mean, his short game's 10th in the field. So there's a lot to like. He also, for a guy that doesn't hit it very far, dominates the par 5, 16th in par 5 dominance. Don't know how we got par 5 dominance in this podcast, but there it is for you guys. And he makes minimal amount of bogeys. Just love everything about his game. Irons have always been his biggest issue, and they're getting better. 12% owned at $7,700. That's a decision you will have to make. I don't know. Do you want to go there? I like him for a top 20 at plus 270. Yes, that's very nice. And we like him to win the damn thing at 66 to 1. Absolutely. 12% ownership at $7,700. Keep an eye on the ownership. See what happens. If it gets windy, then maybe we go to Harmon more because I think his short game will come into play a little bit more. Bogey avoidance as well. The birdie thing, if it's not so windy, maybe avoid him if that helps you. Weather permitting, Brian Harmon will make a slight appearance in the DFS lineups. But we're going for him 66 to 1 outright and plus 270 for a top 20. Gotta love that. Gotta love those numbers. Those approach numbers are trending in the right direction. Comes to a shorter golf course that I think he can do a lot better at. Sungjae Im, don't have a lot to say about him. I've been waffling and we half an hour in here and we only had 15. Cameron Tringali, the model says, plus 500 for a top 20. Pull the trigger. I don't know if I want to do that. Recent performances have been disgusting. They have been nasty. And the biggest thing about him is he's always been a really good putter, and his putting has let him down profusely lately. Now, I think I'm going to ditch the top 20 for plus 500. It's really nice. But I don't want to go there. It's too risky for me, even at plus 500. I just don't feel comfortable betting that, but I will throw him in some DFS lineups at 7K at 3% owned. That's exactly, I think that's where he fits up in the golf this week. Is a DFS lineup, GPP stuff, high upside guy, massive risk. That's perfect. Sprinkle him in a few lineups. 7K at 3%. We just discussed if you go JT and Cam up top, you're going to need, you can just keep recycling guys down in the bottom there. Just get all the different combinations of these guys we're going to go through down the 6K range, and hopefully a few of them fire. We've got some good approach players downstairs here whose putters just need to oblige. If they can do that, we're in business. Cool. Next up, Billy Ho Shaw. He is our fourth outright on the card. 45 to zip, 45 to 1. There were bigger numbers out there prior, but I just think Billy is going to play fantastically. Not a big major guy. Almost won the damn thing at Arnold Palmer Invitational. And look at his recent approach play. 6th. He's been striking it so extremely well. Now, he's putting, very good. Bogey avoidance, great. Par 5 scoring, very good. Course history, not so good. Average. But he is, it's all about the irons. And his recent irons, Billy doesn't necessarily seem to do long stints of exceptional iron play. We're catching him right now when his irons are hot. His driving accuracy is extremely impressive. And he hits a lot of good drives gained. And that's what we like about Billy. I mean, look at his recent performances. He's 7th in total strokes gained over the last 24 rounds. Love that about Billy. And at $8,700 and 10% owned, we're going to go there. We are going to go there. I think I think he should be in the 9s, the way he's playing right now. Who, like Corey Connors, Shane Lowry, okay. Joaquim in the 9s. Russell Henley in the 9s. I feel like he's been playing as well as these guys. And he's, where's he at? Yeah, 8,700. So we'll go there. We'll go to Billy. Absolutely going to go to Billy. He putts really well in Bermuda as well. Been putting great lately. And his 85th ranking for around the greens is not necessarily what you would think. He's chipping really well lately. He's actually chipping the best he's ever chipped in his career. This year, his strokes gained around the green in 2022 season is the best number you'll find if you go down every year of his strokes gained around the green. So that's your Billy Horschel tidbit. 45 to 1 outright, and we don't have any top 20 because I feel like he's boom or bust. Also, we'll definitely be doing him in DFS. Tyrrell Hatton is a really good approach player. Look at his baseline. It's 8th, but his proximity from 125 to 200 is really bad. He shines from 175 and out. If you go look at his score, if you go look at his approach proximity from those ranges, the further away from the hole Tyrrell gets, the better he is. That's why he does well in Dubai, Abu Dhabi. That's why he strikes the ball well at Augusta and can't seem to putt to save his life. He's a long iron specialist. Put a wedge in his hand. We might do a Tyrrell wedge watch this week. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see what he gets up to. I don't think he's going to hit a lot of good wedges. He's going to be fiery. Definitely going to fade Tyrrell this week. Chris Kirk. Chalky. We like him though. 8K. Very nice stuff. Decent approach play. Solid around the green. Very crisp. Putting can be very good until it gets to Sunday or the weekend. Starts getting a little wonky. With Chris Kirk over there. So that's kind of, we like him, but he's chalky. So I don't think I'm going to go there with Chris. We do have him for a first round leader though, and I can't remember what the heck it was. 65-1. So that's what we're doing with Chris Kirk. 65-1 first round leader. He putts fantastically on Thursday. Statistically, his putting averages on Thursdays are fantastic. So that's what we're doing with Chris Kirk, leaving him alone in the 8K range. Kevin Na, on the other hand, aka Kevin Sodium, the guy who's just been sprinkling salt over everyone at Augusta as he led the field in approach around Augusta National Golf Course. Kevin Sodium, dude, he has been playing so well, so incredibly well. I'm not entirely sure what to tell you with his irons, but it's been fantastic to watch. And then he comes to a golf course, folks, where he thrives from this range. 125 to 200, his proximity numbers are really, really good. So at 10% only in the $7,800 range, fire away at Kevin Sodium this week, friends. I think he's the guy. His around the green game is spectacular. It's second in the field, probably behind, I don't know. Who has the best around the green game here? Danny Willett? Oh, wow. Okay. So the more you know. Danny Willett's got the best around the green game in the field. Next up, Kevin Na. He is spectacular when it comes to chipping. His putting can be iffy. You never know what you're going to get with the putting. However, his course history is crappy. But when he's like Billy, when you catch him with hot irons, let's go. I think his recent form is overlapping with his proximity numbers that are going to be a perfect niche for him this week. He's extremely accurate off the tee, which we love. He's always going to be hitting his driver in play because he's not necessarily that long. So that's why his approach off the tee numbers are a little less. So yes, Kevin Sodium, got to go to him. Got to go to Kevin Sodium this week. Love him, love him, love him. There's a lot to like. Par 5 scoring, fantastic. Makes a lot of birdies. Does not make a lot of bogeys. Love to see that from Kevin. Jordan Spieth, not showing me enough. Just look at this putting. His putting has just been disgusting. Missing 4 feet putts, 3 foot putts, 3 putting from 3 feet. I want none of Jordan Spieth, but at 4%, I don't know. Might be enticed. Kevin Streelman, 10% owned. I'm getting behind my fascia. Excuse me. So yes, Jordan Spieth. Look at his putting, folks. Disgusting stuff. Not good. Kevin Streelman, good course history, 10% owned at $7,500. What do people like about him? Well, not his approach play in the last 24 rounds, that's for sure. He's been sucking it up. Bogey avoidance, great. Course history, great. I don't know if his irons are going to be there. Leave Kevin Streelman alone in $7,500 range. Siwoo Kim, breeze over him. Harold Varner, he is a Back Nine Bets blacklist member. Him and Tyrrell, actually, are blacklist members here on Back Nine Bets. They lost us 20 plus units together last year. So now HV3 decides to start playing good golf. However, whatever. Jason Kokrak, around the greens, no bueno. No bueno around the greens. Course history, garbage. Is a big nuke factory off the tee. Not going to help him here. Approach play recently, not good. Proximity numbers, So leaving Kokrak alone. Patton Kazaya, on the other hand, is very intriguing. And we are going to be doing some Patton Kazaya love in DFS. He is $7,100. Fits perfectly into the Cam Smith JT bucket. And he's 6% owned. He putts to his baseline on Bermuda, which is nice to see. He hasn't necessarily been putting that well lately, although he makes a lot of birdies, dominates the par 5s, and his approach play has been beautiful lately. So we can expect that the 125 to 200 proximity numbers should be better than what you're seeing on the screen. That is what we like about Patton. Cool. The rest, off the tee accuracies, whatever. He's just going to be hitting a 3-iron, 5-wood, 7-wood into the fairway, hopefully. Alex Noren, Chalk City, 14% at $8,300. Understandably so, been playing fantastic golf. Look at those recent approach play. My word. He's also got an exceptional short game. You can't love them all. Just letting him ride away into the sunset. Adam Hadwin, I can't believe that I didn't have him done anything yet. Cool. Let's do this quickly for Adam Hadwin. There we go. Adam Hadwin, plus 320 for a top 20. I snagged that earlier. I think it's gone now. But plus 200 on BetMGM for a top 200 still. This guy's had 3 straight top 10s in his last 3 starts. Plus 200, including ties, on BetMGM for a top 20. He's had 3 top 10s in his last 3 starts. And what has he been doing with it? His approach play. Recent last 24 rounds has been phenomenal stuff from the Canadian guy. Just good stuff. Short game, 6th in the field. Chipping and putting together, lethal combination. He's played average at the golf course that they're at, which is called Harbour Town. Thank you, Byron's Brain. Welcome back to the party. However, 17% ownership is no bueno. No bueno for us, but we got him at 66-1 to win the goddamn tournament. That's where we're going with Adam Hadwin. And a top 20. I love those bets. Leave him in DFS. 17% ownership is not good. Not going to do that. Not feeling it. Sorry, friends. Leaving him alone. However, I think it's if he can just get his putter to fire. He's been hitting his iron so well. And then when his putter worked, off the tee game was a bit of a struggle. Iron still stayed consistent. One of these days, it's all going to line up and he's going to win a tournament. Hopefully. We'll see. 60-61. Plus 320 for a top 20 or plus 200 on BetMGM. Go check that out, friends. Eric van Rooyen, another little dime down here on the bottom. We like Eric's proximity numbers a lot. We do. Short game a problem. However, approach play has been, you can get away with a bit of a crappy short game if your approach play is exceptional. And at $7,300, 5% owned, he missed the cut at Augusta, but he played really well the first day. Kind of blew up on the second, I believe. Or if maybe that was Higo. I can't remember. I know that was Higo. I don't know what Van Rooyen did. I think he just missed the cut. Had a bit of a problem around Ahmed Quarter. So, Eric van Rooyen, 5% owned, $7,300 going there. Kevin Kisner, 9%. No bueno. Just leaving him alone. Doug Gim has got himself a decent course history at this golf course. And you know what? Look at those proximity numbers while I take a quick little drink here. Doug Gim's proximity numbers are 8th in the field, so they exceed his baseline and his recent approach play, which is always good to see. And old Dougie Gim's short game is just a giant liability. However, it's his putting that's the biggest issue. His chipping isn't bad. So when he does miss the green, hopefully the chipping comes in clutch and chips it super close. We're going to need a good chipping performance from him and a good iron approach play. Putting is always a problem with Doug Gim, but all we need from him at $6,900 is just to make the cut. And he's played really well at this golf course before. Bogey avoidance, fantastic. Good drive percentages, solid. He's just consistently down the middle. Love to see that from the Gim Reaper. Emiliano Grillo would be an absolute go at $6,700, but I mean, his recent approach game has been terrible. Absolutely terrible. Look at that baseline at 17th, and he's 115th in the last 24 rounds. Do not want that on our lineups at all. Tom Hoagie, Chalk City. However, 80-1 outright for Thomas Hoagie. Yes. What do we love about Tom Hoagie? Well, you played 24 rounds around Augusta. So making the cut actually hurt his approach last 24 rounds because there's 4 of them in there now instead of just the 2. He was hitting like shanks. It was bad. He was hitting from the patrons on 11, like way up in the hill. Just absolutely terrible stuff from Hoagie. Get him to a shorter golf course where his good drives gained and his recent approach, recent off the tee game can shine. He's not a big distance guy. We want to see him dominate short wedges like we saw him do him at Pebble. That's what we want from Tom Hoagie. 15% owned. No, not going there. Maverick McNeely, Nothing to do with him. 12% owned as well. That's ridiculous. Matt Kuchar, $7,800, 12% owned. Now, Matt Kuchar has had a top 30 in 7 of his last 8 starts at the RBC Heritage. He's also gained on approach every single time he's played there. Look at his approach numbers. Middle of the field, yet when he comes to Harbour Town, he's gained on approach every single time he's played. Incredible stuff, or at least in the last 8 years. Maybe a bit before that, it was a different name of the tournament, so I don't know if it's the same course. However, since it's been the RBC Heritage, Matt Kuchar has never lost on approach around this golf course. His short game is one of the sharpest in the field, plus 130 for a top 30. Matt Kuchar, holy cow, 7 of his last 8 have been top 30s at this golf course. An absolute horse for the course. Shorter golf course, fits his profile perfectly. You know, look at the accuracy of the tee and all that jazz. Proximity numbers don't mean anything. He has never lost on approach around Harbour Town. So that's great to know. And he's got a fantastic short game. I mean, look at the 7th ranked course history here. Cool. Russell Knox, good drive gained, solid down the fairway, approach place, beautiful stuff. 20th, last 24 rounds, nice. And he's making his way into a proximity range that he loves. Short game, major issue for Russell Knox. 8% owned at $7,300. I just thought I'd mention him. Brendan Todd, also skipping over him. Brian Stewart, on the other hand, is someone that I really like in the $6,700 range. Absolutely like Brian Stewart. 6% owned, not ideal for a $6,700 guy. However, putts better on Bermuda than his baseline by 13 ranking points. Makes minimal amount of bogeys, which we like around this golf course. Lots of potential to go astray. He is one of the most accurate MFers off the tee. Look at that. Accuracy and good drives gained, money. Now we get to the fun part. Last 24 rounds, 34th in the field. He's $6,700, folks. $6,700, and he's 34th in the field last 24 rounds on approach, which is a very important statistic here. Now, what's even better is his baseline is higher than his proximity numbers from 125 to 200, which means that this 44 from 125 to 200 can be slightly improved because he's currently playing better with his irons. Very nice stuff. Got a handy short game. Nothing spectacular, tidy. Not a detriment to his game at all. His method is down the fairway, on the green, to putt. That's all he does. I mean, super accurate, and that's what we love around Harbour Town. 39th ranked history around this golf course. Now, that doesn't include his recent improvements on his irons. Hopefully that helps a lot. $6,700, 6% owned. Love Brian Stewart. One of my favorite plays in that 6K range. Matthew Neesmith, also chalky as heck, down here at $6,600. He's a similar situation to Stewart. Recent approach play, very good. Not relative to his baseline, though. He's one of the best approach players in the field. And maybe he's refound that again, and he's coming back to a golf course that he can shine from that proximity. I don't think it matters. I think he's good with all these irons. The rest of his short game is catastrophic, though. Has been putting better. We've mentioned this in previous podcasts like 6 months ago and 6 weeks ago. But we are all good with him. I think he's improved his putting a lot, and as a result, his approach play has gone south, which is not ideal. But at some point, they're going to catch up to each other, and Matthew Neesmith's going to be a better putter and resorting back to his original prowess with his irons. 9% in the $6,600 range. If you're desperate, go there. If not, Brian Stewart or someone else further down the board here. Just going to start skipping giant chunks of people. Hank Lebioda, one of my favorite guys. I don't think he's a good fit here. Recent approach play, no bueno. No bueno, and look at his putting. Last 24 rounds, no bueno. Unfortunately, Hank isn't going to make anything. Make 0 appearances this week. Cameron Davis. He seems like he's a giant bomber off the tee. which is nice because he's only 2% owned. Look at this course history. 16th in this field, course history-wise. Makes a lot of birdies. Does make a lot of birdies. Dominates par fives for a guy that's in the $6,800 range. Bogey avoidance, catastrophically bad. Very, very bad for Cam Davis. His recent putting is much better. It's not much better. It's better than his baseline. But look at these proximity numbers from 125 to 200. Very, very impressive stuff. 13th in the field from 125 to 200 for Cam Davis. He's a very, very long hitter of the golf ball. Gains a lot of his strokes off the tee. He's hitting himself into going to be using a 3-iron a lot more than most people. He can probably hit his 3-iron as far as Brian Stewart can hit his driver. And I believe he can hit his 3-iron about as straight as Brian Stewart. And he's $6,800, which is beautiful. Why is he 2% owned? Sign us up. He's one of my favorite plays in the $6,800 range. Absolutely. Then we get Nate Lashley, who I really like. He's like a short course, small green specialist. He played really well at Pebble a year ago. His approach play has been shining lately. Holy cow. Here's another example of this. 125 to 200, 71st ranking. Baseline, 83rd. Last 24 on approach, 18th. To take that 71 divided by basically 4, because 18 into 83, 4, 71, call it top 20 from that range. It's a little bit of deductive reasoning and hypothetical stuff here, but he's sharp around the green. Putting, major concern. History at this course, very average. It's a bit of a risky play, but I mean, his irons are exceptional right now. And at $6,700, 6% owned, sign us up. Also, recent, his Bermuda putting, better than his general baseline by 50 rankings, which is very nice to see. We want to see good stuff from guys putting on Bermuda. So that's a nice little benefit to having Nate Lashley in your card. $6,700, 6% owned is a little steep, but it's okay. Michael Thompson, $6,500, 4% owned, got a really good course history here. Why? Because he's a very good, accurate driver of the golf ball, keeps himself in play, and his proximity numbers are fantastic from 125 to 200 compared to his baseline. Baseline's crap. Recent approach play, crap. However, handy around the greens, nothing catastrophic. Plays really well at this golf course. I think that's the only thing we're looking to really get away from Brian Harmon here. 4% owned, $6,500. We'll be sprinkling him in regularly on the lineups. Not a lot, but regularly. Camilo Villegas. He's next up, and I like him. I think he's $6,100. 67th ranked golfer in the model. Beautiful things from Camilo Villegas. Around the green, beautiful stuff. Absolutely beautiful. Putting, big nightmare. However, proximity range, 125 to 200, 63% of the time. He's going to be the 38th best player in the field from that range. Recent approach play, he's $6,100. So we're going to have to take some bullets. We're going to have to take a few on the chin. However, Camilo, very nice stuff to like here. 35th best course history around this course. So that's always nice. You know, there's 91 guys that have course history at least, 95, 103 guys that at least have course history around here, and he's 35th. So that's always nice, and he's $6,100. Putt's slightly better on Bermuda, which is always a plus. Got to like that. That's probably why the course history is better. Cool. Next up, Luke Donald. What do we like about Luke? Man, there's a lot to like about Luke if you're looking at his irons only. 5th in the field, last 24 rounds on approach, and then 10th baseline. He's just a fantastic iron player. Second shot golf course. Yes, Luke Donald, $6,300, 5% owned. Word's getting around. We've mentioned Luke back when it was still cold here in Iowa. It was snowing in November, like long ago. Bogey avoidance, very nice stuff. Course history, 46th. We'll take it. $6,300, 5% owned. Luke Donald does not make a lot of birdies. That is my only thing. He made the cut for me at Pebble, and there were people that finished way worse than him but had the same amount of points because they just make way more birdies. He doesn't make any birdies. Maybe this course history will help him a little bit. Doc Redman. I've heard his name on a few podcasts. I believe Drew mentioned him on the approach. I think that's like the only show I've listened to so far this week, which is why I'm referencing that. Recent approach play, matching up perfectly to his baseline, 37th in the field. Nice proximity numbers, 39th, way down here. $6,400. You gotta eat some bullets every now and then. Putting has been a lot better lately. And his chipping sucks. However, his irons have been better, or the same. They're good. His irons are good. His chipping sucks. Course history sucks. $6,400 though, 2% owned. Like Doc Redman. Putts quite nicely on Bermuda, and he's been putting well lately. Very nice stuff to see there from Doc Redman, apart from his around the green game. And then JT Poston, 6th best history in this field, friends. Holy cow. 3% owned, $6,600. Putts extremely well on Bermuda. Actually, he doesn't putt as well as he does on his baseline, but he still putts well. Short game is snazzy. I mean, his around the green game could be a bit better, but the history here is just fantastic. So it suits his eye really nicely. $6,600, and we get a guy that is not striking his irons well at all in any department. Proximity numbers, baseline, recent 24 rounds, none of that's well. However, he's got good history. Yeah, he's $600 and 3% owned. So we're going to go with that. I mean, his course history has been fantastic. So we're going to go with JT Poston. And then James Hahn at $6K flat, 0% owned. What do we like about him? Makes 0 birdies, good drive machine. Approach play's been garbage, but proximity numbers from 125 to 200 are decent for James Hahn. We're getting into the reads here, friends. We're getting into the reads. Now, what do we like about Ches Reavie? $6,300, 1% owned. A lot of red. He's the only guy I put like a red on his name because there's red flags here. One of the better drivers of the golf ball, accuracy and good drive percentage-wise. Has a very good baseline on approach. However, recent performances with the irons, crap. Proximity numbers, nice. Course history, not good. Take a flyer with him, $6,300, 1% owned. Do what you have to do. There are other people though, like Tyler Duncan, $6,200, 1% owned. Proximity numbers, very nice compared to the rest of his approach play. So that's a nice little thing to see from Tyler Duncan. Very accurate off the tee. Good stuff there. Not a lot to write home about for the rest of the situation there, though. So, Henrik Norlander next. 14th of good drives percentages, and his proximity numbers are also very nice. Very nice. $6,100. Similar situation to Tyler Duncan. Then I like Scott Piercy. He's got very nice proximity numbers considering his recent approach play has not been that great. Now, remember, he made a quad at TPC, and he hit his ball in the water there on 17 to essentially move the cut and miss it himself. So there's my man Sia listening live. What's up, my dude? Thank you for tuning in. We had some fun stuff. I was on his show at Win Daily Sports, and it was the reason I was saying Kevin Sodium is because I lost a bet to them. And there were a few other phrases in here that I'm sure you picked up that were a little goofy. However, we enjoyed it. I love being on that show. It's one of my favorite things. So good to see you, Sia. Thank you. All right. So Kevin Sodium. Yes. He freaking first in approach around Augusta. Incredible stuff. Anyway, Scott Piercy, looking at his data golf stuff, has missed 2 cuts in a row, his last 2 cuts, gaining strokes on the field. Slightly, but he's missed those 2 cuts. Rough city for him. $6,300, 0% owned. He's moving in the right direction. He's gaining on the field and still missing the cut. You know, life sucks for Scott Piercy at the moment. Hopefully he has a breakthrough this week. Wesley Bryan, 4% owned, a $6,100 guy. I think that's going to pick up some more steam. Very good course history here. Proximity numbers are nice, and he hits his irons really good. Love to see that. Charles Schwartzel played fantastically at Augusta. Said he's spoke to Mark Immelman on the First Cut podcast, not on the First Cut podcast, but Mark Immelman from the First Cut, and said to him, I've been playing really well, just struggling to find my niche in competition. Went back to Augusta, found some grooviness. Showing up to a golf course that doesn't necessarily mean anything from a course history standpoint, but he's playing really, he's playing better. I think something might have clicked. If you want to take a gamble on him, considering he played really well at Augusta, let's go there. Sebastian Munoz, 9% owned, all the way down here on the model. Look at those proximity numbers. Not good. Not good. Okay. And then our final guy that we're going to speak about is Adam Svensson. 1,000 to 1, 10 to 1, plus 1,000 or 10 to 1 on DraftKings for a top 20. Svensson found some form with his recent approach play from 125 to 200. Proximity numbers are nice. I mean, look at all this red down here at the bottom, and he's got some good stuff there. Makes a decent amount of birdies because he hits it tight. Off the tee recently, he's been good, and his distance is his biggest problem. So he's trying to hit it far, but at Pebble, at the Honda Classic, and at the Sony, at least at the Honda and the Sony, he finished top 10. And at Pebble, he added to the combination that he's gained on approach 4 shots in those 3 tournaments total. So 4 at each tournament. He shines at shorter golf courses. That's what he does. And shout out to my man, Gimme Bets, at Gimme Bets on Twitter. GIMMIEBETS, I believe. He was pumping out the Adam Svensson stuff. I know Twitter Picks has been on him for a while. Shout out to him. 6% owned. Obviously, people are aware of this situation and very mispriced, but still a nice pickup in DFS. And we've also got him for a top 20 at plus 1,000 or 10 to 1. And we've got him to win the freaking tournament at 400 to 1. So that's our bet. That's it. That's what we're going on. So if I were to, let's do this. This one's for you. I'm going to filter on all the black stuff here and pick a few guys that I think are going to make Uncle Don's secret 6. I like Brian Harmon to make the cut this week. Love his course history. Matthew Fitzpatrick. Adam Hadwin, I think, is going to have a really good week. Matt Kuchar is going to have a really good week. I think he's going to do well here. Let's go a little further up. Billy Horschel is going to make the cut, I think. And then Chris Kirk. Those are my 6 guys I'd play in your cash lineup, Uncle Don. I don't know if that makes sense salary-wise, but I know you wanted a baby recap of what's going on. So, yes, it sounds like the microphone worked. I'm excited. Scotty Scheffler, $100 bill shirt on today. Let's go back to back, folks. It's Billy Horschel, Daniel Berger, Russell Henley, Brian Harmon, Adam Hadwin week. Let's do it. Have a good week. Happy Tuesday. Be a good person. Smile at someone. You never know what you're going to make them feel like. Could change their whole day. Back 9 Bets loves you. Catch you guys later.